Alright, welcome to my channel. I'm the winged stallion Pegasus, temporarily trapped in this body. I'm also hoping that my voice comes over these sounds of the game that you're watching. Now, my interests are, which are going to be the interests of this channel, in this order: firearms, mechanics, politics, Warhammer 40k, and Battlefield. This is going to allow me to combine two of my favorite hobbies, playing Battlefield and talking. Expect a lot of Warhammer references in here, so when you hear Tech Priest, it's Warhammer. Now, I ended up getting lucky that the captures that I took for my first video like this so happened to be from a game that I went 20-0. I always go so good at that, especially on a map like this that I never play on. You'll notice that in this particular map I play exclusively in the AA tank. I used to always be an MBTer. However, I got tired of this tank being kept back in the base doing almost nothing because it's sitting next to a automatic spawn cannon. Something I'll get into possibly in a later video to better explain, but basically to get this tank out of the base I moved it forward. What happened was that very quickly all the other players have figured out that they can still get kills and hide in the base, and it's very hard to kill them back in the base. The problem is that this vehicle provides a no-fly zone wherever it's at, and it's very good at covering your tanks from attack helicopters and other such random flying BS that you're really not wanting to face if you're in a tank. Now, these feather rants, as I think I'm going to call them, are going to be similar in concept to my worldviews on Google+, of which I'm up to, I think, just shy of 800 of them. However, whereas those are very short, quick worldviews, little snippets, mostly like little memes and whatnot, these are going to be a little bit better thought out, where I'm going to give some better arguments for what I want, and I have a little list of notes for it because otherwise I will completely forget everything that I want to say. Now there are going to be several other types of videos on my channel. The other types that I'm going to have are videos going into detail of my truck build. Right now I'm putting a stupid amount of money into an old pickup truck. So I'm going to be doing actual live footage of putting it back together. Unfortunately, I'd already taken that truck apart before I got around to deciding that I was going to start making videos including my truck. And once it's together, I'll end up doing driving videos with it. But those will be coming in the near future. Right now I'm saving money for more parts for that particular truck. Now then, the topic for today's discussion is going to be on my other interests, which is firearms and politics. And in particular, you can't really talk about firearms this close to a unfortunate school shooting without talking about the school shooting. And really, I would start that off with, in this particular case, which law would you make for this? Because you already almost immediately after had all these people going, well, how many more, and other similar types of arguments to that. But the thing was that, at least to my current understanding, he used a shotgun. I've heard some reports saying it was a pump-action shotgun. Okay, well that completely takes you away from the semi-automatic assault weapon, because now you're not even semi-automatic, you're pump-action, which means every single shot you have to then chamber another round, and then close the chamber, and then pull the trigger again, and it shoots, and you repeat this until there's no more ammunition in the magazine. So, what now? You basically limit everyone to single-shot shotguns, or single-shot weapons. And if we're going to do that, then we start, then it becomes very apparent that pretty much you're going to ban all guns. Now, the next thing I would point out in this is, he's already broken, and every school shooter really has already broken a whole slew of laws that there already are in the books, and there's so many of them that it's almost impossible for you to memorize all the laws. And at least for me, it's completely impossible. There's a reason I don't leave my state, and it's because even my state I haven't memorized them all, but at least I have a general idea of what my state's laws are. I have no idea what the state next door has, other than knowing that the state next door doesn't recognize my carry permit. But to give an idea of some of the laws that this guy's already broke to pull, to do this was, number one, he had possession of a firearm by a minor. If you're under the age of 18, you're not allowed to have possession of a firearm unless you have a parent or guardian with you. And I'm not sure, maybe some states might have slight variants of this, but in general, no buying guns, no possessing guns, unless you're over the age of 18. So pretty much there's an outright ban on him having a gun. The next one is stealing a firearm. I think in his case he stole 2 or 3 firearms. The last time I checked, it's highly illegal to steal other people's guns. It's highly illegal to have possession of stolen firearms. There's a reason that firearms have serial numbers, and even though some firearms are not required to have be registered in any way, for instance, in my state, you're not required to register long guns. It's still, to me, a good idea for you, if you own firearms, to have your own registry of those firearms. That way, if any of them get stolen, you can give that the police the information for the gun that's stolen. And if nothing else, this allows you to get your gun back when the police, finally, if the police recover your gun. The next one is also, possession of stolen property. Stolen property in this case being the stolen firearm. So, like a double whammy there. And then also having possession of a firearm on school property. That's illegal. I'm not allowed to, walk into a school carrying my gun. At least as best as I've been able to tell, that's not allowed. And in my state, if say something like a private school, where it's private property, they're allowed to ban firearms from their property. You can, any business can do that. Any homeowner can do that. Now, in the case of businesses, they're required to have a visible sign outside saying no firearms allowed inside, which gets to a whole nother topic. But pretty much, that you're supposed to have that sign out there. Now, if you don't have the sign out there, you could still ask them to leave. And if they don't refuse to leave, you could, say, for instance, press charges for trespassing because it's, your private property. But, yeah, he's not allowed to have it on that property. So there's an outright ban on him having the guns on school property. The next one is you're not allowed to discharge firearms within so far of a building, of an inhabited building. So, in my state, I believe it's something like 180 yards or something along those lines, that you're not allowed to discharge a firearm within a building that has people in it. And the last time I checked, inside a building is well within that range that you're not allowed to be in and discharging a firearm. The next one would be assault with a deadly weapon. Last time I checked, firearms tend to be considered deadly weapons. So, yeah, there's a ban on assaulting people with deadly weapons. So, really, you're expecting me to believe that you're going to make a law that he's going to actually follow if he's already doing that. And then, coming after that, we're going to up the ante a bit. Murder. Murder 10 times over. If you're willing to kill people 10 times over, and probably, if no one stopped you, willing to keep killing people multiples above that 10 times over, you're probably not going to be stopped by some little hiccup like a law saying that you're not allowed to possess a certain type of gun, or you're not allowed to possess a gun, period. And if you think it's going to be impossible for people to get guns, in England, a guy, right after they started banning guns in England, a guy, to demonstrate the fact of, how, stupid this was, actually was making fully automatic machine guns. There's a video of it on Forgotten Weapons, where they detail the automatic weapons that this guy was making. Now, I do apologize if there's a slight break here in the video. Pretty much Xbox only lets you record 10-minute videos at a time, and I'm splicing 2 videos together to get the full length here. So anyway, the next one is, I already went over murder. So the next one's going to be possessing an unregistered explosive devices. In America, you can have explosive devices. You can have grenades, you can have grenade launchers and stuff like that. However, in order to do so, you have to go through this whole rigmarole with the ATF and pay a $200 tax stamp, have the ATF do a very intrusive background check into you, far more so than the normal FBI background check. Oh, and by the way, the being under 18 means an outright ban on that, and I believe, actually, it's in order for you to start qualifying for this part, it's 21. Could be wrong on that, but I think it's 21. Anyway, in either case, his explosive devices were unregistered, which in of itself is highly illegal. And effectively is banned if they're not. You're not allowed to go making pipe bombs, and you're not allowed to go putting explosives all over the place. That's illegal. But that didn't stop him from getting himself explosive devices, either acquiring or making them. So that's that I have for the laws that he's already broken. Now, another thing I want to point out here, because everyone always talks about in these events, in this case this doesn't apply because he actually used a shotgun, as best I can tell, is you had a lot of people saying that, well, all you need for home defense is a shotgun, right? And if we just had shotguns, you wouldn't have so many of these shootings, and not so many people would die. Well, the thing is, that's not really true. And I'm gonna do another video. There'll be a actual live action video, so I can demonstrate the differences between them. And there's already people who've done the whole, shooting different targets with different guns, so you can watch those videos. In my video, I'm going to simply compare and show you the size of the different weapons that you guys are, that some people are saying, oh, we can have, but then we can't have these other ones. And the thing is, when you look at a shotgun, if you have any idea what you're looking at all, you can really quickly realize that the shotgun is far more powerful as far as shooting an unarmored person than most rifles. And there are exceptions out there, but for most of the so-called assault weapons that everyone calls high-powered assault weapons, are really anemic compared to a shotgun. In the case of a shotgun, if you're shooting the standard 2 3/4 inch double-eyed buck through it, per trigger pull, that's almost 9mm projectiles coming at somebody. And if they're 3-inch Magnum shells, which many shotguns are capable of firing, that's 15. That's literally taking almost an entire magazine from a Glock 17 and shooting it at one go into one person. The power that a shotgun has at very close range is obscene, and a lot of these mass shootings would have been a lot worse if the person had been using a shotgun instead of using a rifle, because the rifle makes makes neat little holes, and many times are shooting somebody and the person gets hit once or twice. With a shotgun, you're getting hit 15 times per trigger pull. So instead of having so many dead and then a whole bunch of injured, like we commonly get, an example of this would be the Vegas shooting, where you had a certain number of injured, and then you had this huge number of people injured. Well, in a closer range environment, and a better example of this, because a shotgun really wouldn't have worked for the Vegas shooter, more like the Orlando shooter, who shot something like 49 or 59 people. I'm going to say it's 59. Anyway, who shot so many people, but there was also a whole lot of other people who got injured and survived. If he had been using a shotgun, it pretty much would have been, everyone he shot would have been dead, especially at those kind of ranges. And if he started backed up a little bit, he could have started hitting multiple people per shot. Of course, doing less damage to each individual person he's shooting at, but still a lot of damage. And when you look at the size of the shell versus the size of a 5.56 round, these high-powered, heat-seeking, guided bullets, that are given magical properties, they're really glorified 22s. They're pretty much scalpels that go really, really fast. And in almost every other circle, other than the gun banning circles, they're really considered anemic. In combat, they're not even designed to kill, they're designed to injure, because the idea was if you injured one dude, 2 other people had to stop what they were doing, i.e. shooting at you, to help that one guy. So now you have 3 rifles that are not shooting at you because you shot one person who's still alive. But if you if you killed him, well then now those 2 other people aren't necessarily going to stop shooting at you to help the person who's dead. But they probably will if you injure him. So that's why the rounds are commonly considered underpowered. Now then, that's enough ranting for that for now. Of the different videos I'll be posting, there's going to be a lot of these. As you can see, this is 0001. And there may, who knows how many I'll end up making. But this is one style that I'll be doing a lot of. The other ones are going to be, I've posted a couple already, of breakdowns of firearms that I actually possess. Now, there's only so many of these that I can do because I only own so many firearms, and I'm not Bill Gates, so I'm not going to be getting a whole mess of new firearms anytime soon, especially since all my money's going into my